Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning. It is Thursday, March 3rd, 2022. I am Benjamin Dixon broadcasting live from Jacksonville. I have been here in the city for several days working on a wonderful project, which is why I don't look like I normally would. We're down on the street levels. And I just want to start this morning by thanking very personally the people of Jacksonville who are standing in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. We are working on a project here, and we're going to be hearing directly from the people of Jacksonville, some of our white brothers and sisters. There's even a few connections to Ukraine. But the people are saying no more war. That's it. No more war. And we're praying for Ukraine because of everything that you've seen covered on this show while I was away. Dr. Mack is here this morning, and I'm going to yield the floor to him. But I just want to put that first and foremost. We are praying for Ukraine. I am specifically using my energy on behalf not only for the people of Ukraine, but for the president of Ukraine and his family, because I know one thing that Vladimir Putin is going to do if he has the opportunity, and that is to decapitate the leadership of Ukraine. It is a strategy that is employed by empires. The United States does it. Russia will do it, has done it. And so I am saying a prayer for Ukraine that the president, and not only the president and his family, the entire everyone, but I am thinking about the president and his family because I know a father standing on behalf of his country and standing on behalf of his family at the same time needs our support, especially when the weapons that we have right now, our literal weapons, are not going to win this one. So the people of Jacksonville came up with something, and I'm excited to share it with you. I will share more about it with you as the day goes on. I want to yield the floor to my brother from another mother, the distinguished gentleman, our historian, Dr. Carl Mack.
Good morning, Ben. How are you? And Ben, God bless you for the work that you're doing. Cannot echo those sentiments anymore.
Bless you, man. I thank you for holding down the helm, and I yield it to you.
Thank you, my brother. Well, as always, we're going to start with our Black History moment of the day. So, hey, Google, what happened on this day in Black history?
On March 3rd, 1962, sportswoman Jackie Joyner, considered by many to be the greatest multi-event track and field athlete of all time, was born in East St. Louis, Illinois. Competing in the heptathlon in 1986 at the Goodwill Games in Moscow, she became the first woman to ever score over 7,000 points, scoring 7,148. In the '88 Olympics, Jackie set an Olympic and world record with 7,291 points, which still stands. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Carl Mack.
And there you go, family. Every day is Black History Day here on the Benjamin Dixon Show. So, Ben, about maybe 2 weeks ago, we did a video regarding Brian Flores, and we historically talked about Curt Flood. So if we have that video, I'd certainly like to play it before we now hear from our next guest, which is none other than the son of the legendary Curt Flood Jr. So if we have that video and we could run it, I'd greatly appreciate it, fellas.
We'll give it a second. Brother Zach is coming up.
Good morning, fam. Normally I'm hanging with my brother Benjamin Dixon on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. I want to talk to you this morning, the NFL players, in particular about Brian Flores. See, like many in the Black community, we want to be sure that you don't this one up the way you did Colin Kaepernick, because as a collective, you left that brother hanging. And don't tell me about the millions of dollars at stake here, because given that it's Black History Month, allow me to give you this history lesson, Black history lesson. See, in all of professional sports, there used to be something called the reserve clause, which gave the owners of all of these franchises the rights to your talent for as long as you played that particular sport. Now, on December 24th, 1969, Brother Flood, Curt Flood, wrote then Commissioner Bowie Kuhn the following letter. He said, "After 12 years in the major leagues, I do not feel that I am a piece of property to be bought and sold irrespective of my wishes. I believe I have the right to consider offers from other clubs before making any decision. So he filed a lawsuit against Major League Baseball and took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Yes, he lost 5-3, but in December of 1975, the Players Union, being inspired from the courage of this black man, ultimately defeated the reserve clause. Yes, we've seen you out there playing, and on the back of your helmets, you got Breonna Taylor, you got Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. You got those names on the back of your helmet as if you could have done something. You would have done anything to save their lives. Well, in all due respect, they are dead now. But I'm going to tell you who is alive. Brian Flores is alive, and he needs you all. And on the back of your helmets, we all see when you said, it takes all of us. So what am I suggesting? Why don't you take a playbook from that of the NBA players and don't play the game until they get this situation right? Otherwise, you're going to f this one up too.
One of the things that I want us to all be cognizant of is that when it comes to the reserve clause, there was a time when in every major sport, the owners absolutely owned your talent for as long as you played that sport. And so when we talk about sports today, the reserve clause having been done away, that is what led to free agency. And so, Ben, here's the interesting thing. One of the richest contracts ever signed in Major League Baseball history was signed by Girardi Cole, $324 million. Now, in case you don't know Girardi, he's a white guy. So this white guy steps to the podium after having signed with the New York Yankees, signed a $324 million contract. And the first thing he says is, I want to thank Curt Flood. That's who we're talking about. And furthermore, as we have the opportunity to talk to Curt Flood Jr., which is just an absolutely fascinating individual because he comes from a very fascinating family, and God bless that family. Ben, when you talk about what the president of Ukraine is enduring right now, when you get inside the Flood family and understand what that family endured at the hands of racist America, it is just unconscionable. This is absolutely the first family of baseball. But I am willing to say, Ben, they are the first family of all of sports. And I want us to keep this in mind. And I want us to keep this in mind, Ben. The Hall of Fame, Cooperstown. The gatekeepers of Cooperstown will say to us that at its core, the purpose of Cooperstown is to tell the complete story of baseball. For you individuals at Cooperstown who may or may not ever hear this message, let me say to you, I don't want to hear about protocol. I don't want to hear about your procedures. I don't want to hear a damn thing about you, because whatever comes out of your mouth, it is undoubtedly racist. You are racist to your core. You are holding a vendetta that is unconscionable. You cannot talk about the sport of baseball without talking about Curt Flood.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely cannot. And Ben, I need you to say something before I lose my ever-loving.
Hey, Dr. Mack, this is the thing about this work, man. It's like when you open your mouth and you just let the truth come out, and you continue to speak that truth, it always leads to something that needs to be fixed and something that needs to be changed. Because when you speak about the vendetta, one thing white America is good at doing, corporate America is good at doing, and America in general is good at doing, is holding vendettas against black people who messed up their money. And at the end of the day, this is a black man who messed up the whole system so that everybody could get their money. And the owners, if you have to ask me, I don't know a lot about it, but I've seen these type of vendettas be carried out generation by generation by generation.
But Ben, here's the crazy thing. In the end, Curt Flood didn't mess up their money. He made them more money. Ben, let's all look back. Let's all look back at the last playoff season of the NFL, because the NFL is just as much the benefactor of Curt Flood as any sport. Hockey,
That's right.
baseball, football, basketball. There were reserve clauses in all of these. So please understand, let us go back and look at the latest season of the NFL. In that season, we will all admit that we've seen some of the most competitive football ever. And that is what Curt Flood has done for every major league sport. Because trust and believe that the owners of the teams that had the very deep, big pockets, those were the teams that you always heard of. Why do you think the Yankees won so many world titles? Because they had all the horses. Why do you think at one time it was the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers? Because they had the horses. But what Curt Flood did was, in opening up free agency, he made all of these sports far more competitive. And by making them competitive, you now introduce the sports to these smaller markets. And now these owners in every market, you look at the value of every sports franchise in America. Every one of those people are billionaires. They have made far more money by putting a competitive product on the field than they ever would have done if they would have only had the 2 or 3 big horses that was always winning. You understand what I'm saying,
That's
Ben?
right. Yeah. Thank you for that correction, because when you put it in the context, it's even worse.
Yes.
They're holding the vendetta against somebody who helped them simply because it changed. These man, they hate them. They will hang on to a grudge even after you help them. And Ben, see, this is why I will absolutely call. I'm gonna go beyond a vendetta that they're mad at you. They're mad at a black man. And the reason I'm saying is, Ben, and when Curt Flood Jr. comes on, he'll be able to tell you. So, Ben, get this. The representative for Major League Baseball Players Association, he was with Curt Flood when Curt was bringing this lawsuit. Now, this man is dead and gone, but they put him in the Hall of Fame. And trust and believe, he ain't the skin color of Curt Flood. See, this is the type of sickness. And the thing that bothers me about this entire situation is that on April 15th of every baseball season, trust and believe, family, what I'm going to tell you, every year, you're going to see every team in Major League Baseball, every one of them, and every player on every team in Major League Baseball, every one of them is going to wear the number 42. That's right.
The reason they wear the number 42 is in honor of Jackie Robinson. Well, when Curt Flood went to the Supreme Court to argue his case, of all the players, all the great players in Major League Baseball, Willie Mays, Lou Brock, Gibson, Maury Wills, not one player came and stood with Curt Flood. And a gray old man with a cane by the name of Jackie Robinson came into that courtroom and sat down and with sincerity supported Curt Flood. So now Major League Baseball, I ask, yes.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it's that cross-pollination across generations that is the thing that this system can't stop. When you had the senior in the community who had nothing to lose, had nothing necessarily to gain except for doing what was right, sit down next to the young radical who was taking his time trying to do something different. It was a combination of those two that brought about a change that I'm so excited to be discussing this morning.
But Ben, listen, even when we use the term radical, what was radical about a man saying, I ought to have the choice, given what I've given my time to the contract? What is radical about me saying I should have the right to choose whether or not I want to go to racist Philly? Because the Philadelphia club was a horrible club, and they were one of the most racist clubs out there. So what was radical about it? But here's the deal.
The black part was just the black part.
So Curt Flood was his hero, his absolute hero, bar none.
That's right.
Was Jackie Robinson, number 42. And remember what Curt Flood's number was. 21. For a long time, he wore 42. Then he wore 21. So what I need you to understand is that none of these players, and you'll hear from Curt Flood Jr. when he says none of these players stood with his father. His father talked about it. He said, if only they could have stood with us. So the way I see it, when I open this story up, I tell you about Girardi Cole signing, and this is a white guy, signed a $324 million contract in Major League Baseball with the New York Yankees. He steps to the podium and he says, I need to thank Curt Flood. Girardi, you're absolutely correct. You do need to thank him. Major League Baseball, you think that I'm going to tell you right now, Cooperstown is stained. There's a stain over Cooperstown, because if that is supposed to be the hallowed ground by which the complete story of Major League Baseball is told, and that those hallowed grounds keep out Curt Flood, you are a sham. You cannot tell the story. But what is so sad is, without question, baseball, you got a beautiful story. You do. Oh, it's got its challenges in it. And black ball players certainly are part of that challenge. Yeah. But now you want to double down after this man is dead and gone, after you know without question what he did for Major League Baseball, and you, because of your racist white superiority vendetta, you want to keep Curt Flood out of the Hall of Fame. Trust and believe there's a storm coming. It's a black storm. And until you can humble yourself and do right by this man, do right by his family, you have no idea, Major League Baseball, what you did to this man. So because Curt Flood Jr. is not here, and Flood, Jr.
Well, we're working out the tech side, but we're still working.
That's fine. You work it out.
Yes, sir.
But Junior, let me say this to you. I told you I would never do or say anything to embarrass you or your family. And I'm going off the rails here, because when baseball, I need you to understand baseball, what you did. What do you think it was like, Cooperstown, for this ball player to travel with the team, but when the team gets to the venue, when they get inside the town and they're going to their hotel, you got to drop him off in the middle of somewhere in hopes that he finds a place to stay. What do you think it's like, Major League Baseball, when all of your white players who ain't did a damn thing for the league, even at that point when they come in as rookies, they can go to the finest of restaurants. But Curt Flood and them black players, they had to find their own way. What do you think it was like when Mr. Flood had to call his family and talk about how demoralizing, how hard it was on him? And then you want Curt Flood and all our other baseball players to go out on that diamond and perform for your white superiority satisfaction. You got Bowie Kuhn in there. You got Kennesaw Williams. You got some of the most known racists in the history of racism in the Hall of Fame. And what this man did for the sport, by just simply standing up for himself and saying, I'm American. I'm going to tell you something, baseball. I'm going to tell you something right now, Cooperstown. Don't you ever utter the words that baseball is as American as apple pie. No. Baseball is as American as the KKK. I done gone there with you. I am that hot with you. How dare you? The audacity of you, baseball, to think that you can tell this story, that you can think that Cooperstown sits as hallowed grounds. I guarantee you right now, the GOAT, Tom Brady, will tell you, I do owe Curt Flood a debt of gratitude. Otherwise, he'd have been stuck at the Patriots for his entire career. Never would have went to Tampa Bay. I guarantee you that Wayne Gretzky, out of hockey, can tell you, I owe Curt Flood a debt of gratitude. But you, Major League Baseball, and Mr. Commissioner, and all of your white superiorist owners, talk about an imperial empire. The audacity of you to shame the game, the audacity of you on April 15th, to parade everybody around in numbers 42 as if, you know what? What were you saying? Jackie, I'm sorry that because of the color of your skin, we kept you out of baseball. And for that, every year come April 15th, we're going to pay tribute to you. You sorry for what you did. You made amends with Jackie. And for that, I appreciate it. That's with Jackie. But until you do right by Curt Flood, you racist son of a guns, Cooperstown, we piss on it. Yeah.
Bro, Mac. Bro, Mac, let me tell you something, man.
Yes.
You the type of brother I want in my corner when it go down. When injustice pops up, we need people who unapologetically call it out and call it out to the people's faces. Because I know, save a pandemic and a flight or two, you would say this to their face because they need to honor this man.
But Ben, what else is there to say? You talking about a man. Now hold on, Ben. Now, I'm not talking about some rudimentary ball player. I'm talking about a man who played on teams that won 3 pennants. I'm talking about a man who went to the World Series 3 times and they won 2 of them. I'm talking about a man who was a 7-time Gold Glove. I'm talking about a man who was a multi-year All-Star player. I'm talking about a man, Ben, who between 1960 and 1969, there were 6 players in front of him. Roberto Clemente was at the top of that list. But number 6 on that list, in front of Lou Brock, and if I'm not mistaken, if he wasn't above Willie Mays, he was right below Willie Mays. But of all the hitters between 1960 and 1969, Curt Flood was number 6. You're talking about a man who finally just said, look, baseball, I want to play the sport, but I ought to have the right to go and entertain offers from any team I so desire.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. What is so radical? What is radical about that? There's
Brother Mac.
Yeah, talk to me, Ben.
I use the word radical pretty freely. And I'm okay with them calling me a radical, but I am also okay with the fact that ain't nothing we're asking for radical.
No.
Not a thing. There's nothing radical about liberation. There's nothing radical about police stopping killing us. There's nothing radical about getting rid of poverty. There's nothing radical about giving health care to every single citizen on the face of the planet. There's nothing radical about that.
Nothing.
But if you want to call me that, I'll be that.
No, Ben, Putin is radical. That's radical. Putin is radical. Cooperstown is radical. Y'all, that's what radical is. Don't throw radical to brothers like Ben and I, because we have the nuts. We got the balls, baseball. We got the balls to stand up. We're not the radical ones. No.
Right. That's right. That's right.
We just got
Brother Mac,
our black backs bent to make you comfortable. Right. We've stood up. Radical is Putin.
That's right.
Shooting down the Holocaust Memorial. I'm going to tell you, let me tell you this, baseball. Let me put it to you just like this. Yesterday, when Putin shot down the memorial that stood in honor of the 30,000 Holocaust victims, that racist act, I equate your vendetta and your racism towards Curt Flood in the same vein. How can you tell the history of baseball?
You know what, Brother Mac? I'm glad to have you on my team, and I definitely don't want you as my enemy. We go, Dwayne, do you want to take a quick break? We have our guests, and we want to just reset. Dwayne, what's the best way to do it for you? To take a quick break? All right, let's do that. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I think we're getting a little bit closer to actually having the conversation with Brother Curt Flood Jr., Brother Mac. So we're going to take a quick pause, and we'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show right after this.
I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad, light up ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I never sold pack for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, through that I survived, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit it to the sky, changed haters on a tirade. Talking to the crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, pin myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's capped. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. I'm burning down sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
From the glass in the mirror, yeah. Do it at me, old man, tryna pass in the fear. Yeah, the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that, and he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the breakfast. Put me in your prayers, I might put you on the guest list. Young, tell me reckless. Gold in my soul, got the same on my necklace.
Curt Jr. Man, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Welcome to the show, Brother Ben Dixon. I had the honor of speaking with you, my brother, for God. We've spent some hours on the phone talking, and I'm gonna tell you something, Junior. I needed you about 30 minutes ago because as I got to feeling the spirit of your father, the spirit of Shaka Zulu came out. And for those of you who worry about my tone and what I may say, I need you to understand this: racism will never, ever get diplomacy from me. So with that said, go ahead.
Duly noted.
Good. So, Brother Flood, Brother Flood, if you can hear us, listen, man, welcome to the show. And, we started off the show showing the video that we did, but more importantly, we also have talked about players who have signed huge contracts, in particular, Girardi Cole. I think there's a brother from the Dodgers, Mookie, who just signed a big contract. And one of the things that was so impressive is that when they stepped to the mic and the first thing they wanted to say is thank you. All these years later, they wanted to say thank you to your daddy. So, Brother Flood, if you can, just tell us about your daddy.
Well, first of all, thank you so very much for having me on. Absolutely appreciate it. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have connected with you, Dr. Mack, over the past several weeks. And you and I will be connected at the hip from now on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the cats that are coming up today and that are the beneficiaries of what happened 50 years ago with my dad and his challenging the reserve clause, which bound you to a team for the rest of your life. For them to finally acknowledge, Pops is it's heartwarming, it's heartening. But it wasn't always that way. Back when my dad, after playing all these years with the St. Louis Cardinals, 12 years, 3 World Series, they won 2 of them, 3 All-Star games, 7 straight consecutive World Series. When Willie Mays was in the league,
gold gloves, 7 straight gold gloves, I believe.
I'm sorry, yeah, 7 straight gold gloves. Yeah. When Willie Mays was in the league means that he was a blue chip player, and by today's standards, he was a $30 million a year player. And in 1969, when after playing 12 years with the Cardinals, he had received word from a low-level manager in the Cardinal organization that he'd been traded to the Philadelphia Phillies, and he simply felt that baseball owed him, the dignity and respect and much more than to be dished off on a whim, and it was commonplace that players were traded, but you had no recourse. The reserve clause was a piece of legislation that was written by Oliver Wendell Holmes. This was like 75 years old. The language of the reserve clause, which bound players, every contract had this reserve clause language in it. So it dated back a long time, and at that time, imagination was on short supply. Nobody could imagine that they would be able to test professional athletes would be able to test their value on the open market. It simply was not, it was tantamount to asking, the average person about the internet in the 1980s. It simply was beyond the imagination of the players, and the owners held all the cards, and they could buy you, sell you, trade you, release you on a whim. And that's what happened to my dad. And being the cat that he was, that spirited and forthright and conscious of social justice and all that good stuff, he decided that he was not going to comply, which is what it was. He had to comply or not play.
Okay, so Curt, let me ask you this, brother. Given the stats of your daddy, given what your daddy did to not just baseball but to all professional sports, tell me why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
You don't piss off the type of people he pissed off and not encounter repercussions. And I heard it said recently that nobody holds a grudge like Major League Baseball, and we're seeing it today in the labor talks. Rob Manfred is, he's no friend of labor, and for that matter, nor is Major League Baseball. And corporate ownership of most of the teams. These guys are about maximizing shareholder value for their bottom line and for their corporations.
But Curt, I got to interject. Listen, when your father died, what year did your father die?
1997.
Okay, so your father died in 1997. Now, there was a white guy who was with your father during this time when he challenged free agency, and that white guy, his name?
I'm not certain of who you're talking about.
No. White guy, he just died, and they just put him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Marvin Miller. Marvin Miller was the head of the Players Association.
Right. So Marvin Miller is even though your father is in the league, Marvin Miller's the head of the Players Association. Marvin Miller is dead and gone. But they saw fit to put Marvin Miller in the Hall of Fame. But your daddy, who died in 1997 with all that he has done for baseball. See, I get vendetta. I get that. This is far more sinister, if you ask me. And Curt, I don't know how to not be just absolutely and inflamed with these. I don't know how to see them other than the racist cowards they are.
Baseball has long been a neoconservative, right-wing kind of. It goes back a long way, and I was thinking of the word institution. It's traditionally been a very conservative institution, and with plantation owner, kinds of oversight, and mentality. Yeah. So. This is not new in our country. My dad lived and worked under Jim Crow for half of his career. Now,
Curt, speaking of that, is it true? There was a story that I heard, and I heard a lot of stories, but I want to hear it directly from you. One, I heard a story where the game was over. Your father's a starter. Your father takes his uniform off, and all the white players are throwing their uniforms in the center of the floor. And your father throws his uniform in the center of the floor. I think you know where I'm going with this story. So is that a true story?
It's an absolutely.
Could you tell us what happened right there?
It's an absolutely true story. My dad came up out of Oakland, and he went to McClymonds High School along with Veda Pinson and Frank Robinson. Who is a Hall of Famer, and Veda Pinson should be a Hall of Famer. The Cincinnati Reds got my dad, Frank, and Veda for $4,000 apiece. Good. $12,000 for the three of them, and they ended up. My dad ended up in High Point, North Carolina, in the minors, and this was 1950, 56, 57. And, it was, in full blown Jim Crow. And, my dad was from Oakland. He had never experienced the level of hatred and racism that he encountered down there. And there's a ton of stories that I can share with you. But, as you said, one of them was it was a doubleheader. And the players came back into the clubhouse, and mind you, my dad was unable to dress along with the white ball players as a 17-year-old. They had to construct a corrugated tin lean-to against the clubhouse where he would dress and not only at High Point, North Carolina, but on the road. He could not. Sleep and go into the restaurants and all of that stuff. So it's a doubleheader, and they come in after the first game, and all the white players, take off their uniforms and throw them in a pile. And my dad followed suit, and some, white clubhouse manager gave him both barrels. About mixing his uniforms with the other players, and went and got a long stick with a nail attached and fished his uniform out of the pile and sent it across town to the Negro section of town to have it cleaned, and they sent it back, and they played the second game.
And Curt, you and I also talked about the fact that your father's from Oakland. After winning the World Series, your daddy wanted to move the family back. Let's share that story if you don't mind, because I want America, I want all of you out there to understand what this man was going through day in and day out. And now baseball, you have the audacity. So Curt, take us to that. It's the day after you win the World Series. And what was it like for you as a little boy, how your father wanted to celebrate? Take us through that story, my brother.
Yeah, after the 1964 World Series, my siblings, all my siblings and my mom and my grandparents were all from St. Louis. And after the 64 World Series, my dad being from Oakland and a sort of new moneyed kind of young player, and he wanted to buy my mom a house, and he looked in a neighborhood outside of Oakland called Walnut Creek and Alamo, and so we had a lease to buy a home, and it was a beautiful ranch-style home with a pool and an orchard in the back and basketball courts, and befitting a young player that had just really achieved the kind of success to be able to do so. And well, it was a lease to buy, and we went through a broker, and unfortunately, when the actual owner of the property found out we were black, barricaded himself inside the house with a shotgun and threatened to kill us if we tried to access the home. So
you all were coming up to the house. So he didn't know. So you used the broker to lease the place. Now you all have the keys in your hand. As a family, you're coming up to the house. He sees you and barricades himself in the house with a shotgun and threatens your life.
Actually, no. He had barricaded himself in the home with the shotgun and phoned our broker and said if we tried to access the home, he would kill us. Good. And again, my dad had just made national news, having won the World Series. So this thing's the story swept across the country in media, and my dad ended up suing the guy to be able to lease the home, and won. And we were then escorted into the home with the assistance of the federal marshals, and it was all on video, and it made the evening news, across the country. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that was commonplace. And the interview that he did with my mom on the front lawn and in the backyard, he talks. He's so poised and 24 years old, and yes. He says, this is the world that we live in, and it's not just relegated to the southern states. It's pervasive and it's everywhere. But the poise was remarkable.
Curt, let me try to and Dwayne, I hope that we have the clip lined up of Mr. Flood speaking. And so if we do, can you roll that clip and just let us hear from the legend, from the hero himself? Dwayne, if you have that clip and you can play it for us.
I guess you really have to understand who that Curt Flood was. I'm a child of the 60s, a man of the 60s. During that period of time, this country was coming apart at the seams. We were in Southeast Asia. Good men were dying for America and for the Constitution in the southern part of the United States. We were marching for civil rights, and Dr. King had been assassinated, and we lost the Kennedys. And to think that merely because I was a professional baseball player, I could ignore what was going on outside the walls of Busch Stadium is truly hypocrisy. And now I find that all of those rights that these great Americans were dying for, I didn't have in my own profession.
In October of 1969, veteran center fielder Curt Flood of the St. Louis Cardinals got word that he was to be traded to Philadelphia. The Phillies were a second division team known for their hostility toward black players, and Flood did not wish to move his family or to leave his business interests behind.
I often wondered, what would I do if I were ever traded? Because it happened many, many times. It was, in quote, part of the game. And then suddenly it happened to me. I was leaving probably one of the greatest organizations in the world to, at that time, was probably the least liked. And by God, this is America. And I'm a human being. I'm not a piece of property. I'm not a consignment of goods.
Flood did not report to the Phillies training camp. I am a man, he told baseball commissioner Bowie Kuhn.
Dear Mr. Kuhn, after 12 years in the major leagues, I do not feel that I am a piece of property to be bought and sold irrespective of my wishes. I believe that any system which produces that result violates my basic rights as a citizen and is inconsistent with the laws of the United States. It is my desire to play baseball in 1970, and I am capable of playing. I received a contract from the Philadelphia club, but I believe I have the right to consider offers from other clubs before making any decisions. I therefore request that you make known to all Major League clubs my feelings in this matter and advise them of my availability for the 1970 season. Sincerely, Curt Flood.
The commissioner refused to exempt him from the reserve clause. Flood refused to play and vowed to take his case all the way to the Supreme Court.
You know, family, listen, as you all are listening to Curt Flood Jr. and you watch that piece on Curt Flood, I don't need for any of us to trivialize Curt Flood. I need for all of us to see the soul of a man. So Junior, when you talk about how cool and calm your daddy is, he is such the opposite of me. I am such a firebrand. Like right now, I want to go piss all over Cooperstown. That's the way I am. And to hear your father, the intellect and the coolness and calmness under pressure is absolutely incredible. So Curt, I got to say this to you. We have 4 minutes, man, but I am without doubt that there are so many of us that need to sit down and hear so much more about your father. So Curt, please, I know we were supposed to get you on 30 minutes ago. Man, please promise me that we can come back and finish this story, please.
Oh, whenever you want, and I'm here and would love to continue our conversation and share with you, an extraordinary experience coming up under that kind of legacy.
Well, listen, we have 4 minutes left, and so I just want you to take those 4 minutes and tell us what you want to talk to us about your daddy, man.
He was only 5'9", 160 pounds, soaking wet. And you talk about being a firebrand. I got none of his poise in terms of cutting people slack, when they know they're wrong. I have that luxury, cats coming up, and you and I talked about this yesterday. Cats coming up back then, there were repercussions. You could end up hanging from a tree, so they had to be more strategic and know how to accomplish the impossible under impossible conditions. And so, you know, he was really a good dude, man. Funny, always engaging, you know, would speak to strangers and hold long conversations with people that he didn't know. And, you know, he was just an engaging, interesting cat, you know, and you know, we miss him dearly. And trust me, I love having this opportunity to come out and express all these things. But I, from the bottom of my heart, I wish he was here to do it himself.
Yes. You know, I feel you, fam. I feel you.
My siblings and I wouldn't have to be working so hard, you know, if he was alive. But it's absolute pleasure. And,
you know, I know what I said to you privately, and I want to say it to you publicly. I know that there's an effort to get your father in the Hall of Fame, to get the just due that he deserves. And I'm saying to you right now, I am 100% committed to that. And the only thing that, you know, the biggest challenge between you and I is that you're going to have to, you know, you got the reins to me. But player, I'm going to just tell you right now, not anybody can handle my reins, you know, but at your beck and call, I will go, I will fight, whatever it takes, bro. We're going to have to get a groundswell of Army. We have to talk to baseball about this situation. I want to close with this last thing. On top of your father being a tremendous ball player, he was an incredible artist, because I do believe that the picture of him, the painting of him, was that his? Did he paint that?
Yeah, that was a self-portrait.
Oh my God! And so I don't know if while you're talking, Dwayne, you could show that portrait while Curt's talking, but go ahead.
Yeah, in the off season, many players back then had, you know, off-season jobs. You know, cats were you know, they weren't making the kind of money they're making today, obviously. So in order to make ends meet, they had to have off-season jobs. And my dad was lucky in the way that his off-season job was his other passion, which was painting. And I heard it told from people that were friends of his back, you know, when he was a kid, that he was a better painter than he was a ball player.
Oh my God. I mean, Kurt, I've looked at some of the images and I was just absolutely, first of all, I didn't think they were paintings. I thought they were actual pictures. So listen, Kurt, we are at the 9 o'clock hour. My brother, I am so grateful, and I hope that those who had a chance to just hear this part of you could absolutely feel the beauty that is your daddy. That is our hero. And Kurt, please, I am going to call you as soon as we're done here. And I want to schedule us to come back on for you know, as much as time as we can, because I just want people to hear from you and just talk about your daddy, the man, and what you all as a family went through, and what you're doing now, and how we as a people can help right this wrong. Because Dr. King did say, justice delayed is justice denied. And in the case of Curt Flood, justice has been delayed and it has been denied. And it's been denied by some folks who need to be held accountable. So Curt, please give us some parting words, my brother, and let's look to connect after this.
I appreciate you and Benjamin Dixon beyond measure. This opportunity has been extraordinary, and you brothers, please stay in touch, and I am here whenever you guys want to resume the conversation.
I'm going to call you right now. Thank you, Curt Flood. Thank you so much, my brother. Much love.
Thank you.
All right, fam.
We'll be back with Like It or Not after this.
My head is red like old news. Yeah, trying to get the green like it's Whole Foods. Couldn't take my style and now you so blue. Yeah, now we don't even know you. Your hometown we don't even go to. Trying to get it worldwide, global. Looking like I can show you. Be killing this is go-to. Skrilla, the whole man killer. Life so free, can't no man kill him. Came from the bottom, was a broke man, girl. Still move like 10 man with no found window. Boom, pardon me, I get hectic. I survive through the wreckage. Should go look for the exit. New sheriff in town, I get a little reckless. Missed the memo, go check the message. I ain't then came back for seconds. I ain't seen your fake little necklace. Lifestyle decrepit, I should probably expect this. Too much game for your league.
Good morning, people. This your boy James Williams. Man, Scoop's in the building. Dwayne got me just in. I was getting ready to talk. It was perfect timing, Dwayne. That's good. That's good. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Like it or not, it's coming up next here on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Good morning. Oh, this fam, your internet is getting on my nerves as well. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Good morning. Good morning, Sarah. I know you watching, you little bad self.
Brand new rollin', swipe out the G-Shock. Moving slowly, I know the street high.
Good morning, everybody. Roller Dragon, what's going on? Track Natasha, Bluebird on my Sophia. Juanita, good morning. Brother Lateef. Shout out to Brother Lateef, man. Lateef pulled up on me last night. That's a real ass dude. Lateef is real, y'all. Lateef is real. Shout out to Lateef, man. I appreciate you, brother. Laura, good morning. Promises Manifest, good morning. Six Dragon Daddy. Buster, what's up, Buster? No, human is Ear Hustler. Jason Marks, good morning. I'm doing pretty good. How about you? Amber Layla, good morning. Alicia, hey Alicia. Snack Panther, what's going on? Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We coming back. You're liking it. Y'all stay tuned. Good morning.
Pull up in that rain, see me ballin', yeah. 30 feet on my
running right, good morning to you.
Either they love me or I'm a target. Cause I told me you flawless. I've been busy and picking up when you callin'. And on purpose, I hate the fact when you talking.
Iris Jones, good morning.
I got you, I mean that.
Oh, look at that. The back signal. You know what I just thought about? I'm going to see Batman later on. And they gave that movie a damn 10. So I'm excited to sit in the movie theater for 3 hours this afternoon. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Good morning.
We were just a hood, baby, with some issues. My baby from the struggle. Long time had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Hood baby from the struggle. Long time had a hustle. I'm glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Just some hood baby, yeah. Just some hood baby, yeah.
Queen Abby, good morning to you. 1ATL Country Boy, good morning. Kareem, good morning, Kareem. Boondocks Dragon, what's going on? Good morning to you. Shout out to everybody on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you streaming from. I appreciate y'all.
She wanna know me, I stay low key, all gas, no brakes, baby, let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane. Feel like you the one and I'm on one. So what it's gonna be? Baby, squad up, we finna go deep. Riding on a team, got what you need. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I hit the town, you should slide on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all up. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Know it's all love.
I got a good one for you, Dwayne.
Know it's all love.
What did the drummer call his twin daughters? What did the drummer call his twin daughters?
I've been feeling like a man lately.
And a one, and a two.
Baddest in the land. Body turn your nigga to a fanny up. I made it where I'm at on my own. Had a couple blocks in the road.
Oh man.
To the bag on the loan.
Then y'all know I've been looking for work, so I went to an interview for a job yesterday, and the manager said, "Hey, we're looking for someone who's responsible." So I'm like, "Well, I'm your man." I replied, "In my last job, whenever anything went wrong, they said I was responsible." So I'm your man. What's up?
Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all up. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush.
Y'all stay tuned, man. Rebecca is joining us next. I don't want to miss this.
Sip on it, take a trip on it. When a girl who can go slow, wind it up on
Brother Tyler, good morning, Tyler.
Take your time, let me know what I want. When you turn me around, what I want. When the neighbors tear down, we keep it going. Like bum bum bum, throw it back then rotation. Cigarettes and just season. Shine bright as that season. Girl, you know you are a jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam.
Dwayne, I told my wife I wanted to be cremated. She made me an appointment for Tuesday. I'm like, damn, I ain't even dead. Okay, real quick. With the life insurance policy. Hold on, you find out I ain't got none.
You're waiting on me to solve it for me. And last weekend, you had me thinking, almost kidding, I lift my head up like bum bum bum. Put back in rotation.
Look, I'm convinced the person that does these dad jokes on here, either he loves his wife a whole lot or she don't like his ass at all, because Jesus.
Can't you? Yeah, you make me feel like we could do. Oh, you make me feel like we could do it all over again, all over again. Can't you? Yeah, you make me feel like we could do. Oh, you make me feel like we could do it all over again, all over again. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Sounding like you're wasting every time. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 jam. Sounding like you're wasting every time. Sounding like you're wasting every time.
I have no sense at all. I'm cracking myself up over here. I'm sorry. I know everybody looks like, what was snickering at? I'm snickering at everything.
I bought a house in Cabo to shake off my cargo.
Snack Panther, I am watching The Proud Family.
I never blew my top
the new reboot, that's pretty good. Bel Air. If y'all have not watched Bel Air yet, I implore everyone to watch. It is actually not bad at all. Bel Air is pretty good. I must say, I'm intrigued. And it has me real good. Yeah. Bel Air. Make sure y'all catch Bel Air.
Well, you got your thoughts.
It's on Peacock.
All the in there deep. What about your heart? Must be too hard.
Shout out Six Dragon Daddy for the Patriot Party the other night. Can't stand you. Michael, what's going on? No, y'all y'all have actually heard this song a few times. This is called Cabo. I don't have a name of the person. It's Cabo.
I ran around Lake Tahoe. Not once, no stops, no. Cause I'm a brand new model. With a brand new model.
Hey,
I called out Carlo.
What do you call a man in debt?
Instead of my own
Owen.
tempo. It wouldn't make much sense, so.
Good morning, Lily.
How it feels. I said this to
Sylvia, I have not watched Snowfall. I'm like, it's so far ahead that I'm afraid to go back and catch up. I need to go watch it.
What about your heart? Does it beat too hard, my love?
Yes, Bel Air is dope as hell. Dwayne, look, I don't look like I'm on FAMU internet today. I didn't grow up. Hey, it's like when you have a bad gonorrhea flare up and you gotta get some. No, that's the same thing. Never mind. Cool. They got no goddamn sense. See, this is why y'all need to hurry up and come on this show because if not, I'm just gonna be saying random stuff all day. Like my favorite teacher back in school was Mrs. Turtle. Funny name, but she taught us well. All right, y'all, make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up. Yes, Melanie Dennis, Florida has been a lost cause for the longest. Prosper Dana, good morning. All the TV must have happened again. Laura, I have no idea what you're talking about. Snack Panther, what is the Herbie Dog jokes? What are the others?
You look so good, it hurts my soul.
Hey man, when your girlfriend comes home in a white suit covered in bee stings and smelling like honey, you know she's a keeper. A beekeeper, y'all silly asses. Y'all so special. God damn it, Dwayne.
Look at what she did, I'm slipping on it. Yeah, I'm all in, I must admit
Y'all be talking about y'all little dad jokes all the time. I'm just dropping them all for you. Oh, I missed it. To everyone out there suffering from paranoia, just remember you're not alone. Y'all better hurry up and get me out this camera. I'm gonna keep going. I mean, y'all better join me on the camera. Y'all, I want y'all to know that most times, if y'all see me laughing, I blame Dwayne. It's Dwayne. It is Dwayne every time, okay? I'm rolling Dwayne under the bus this morning. Rebecca, read the slack, Rebecca. Donatello ass. Rebecca.
Yeah. It is. Good morning, y'all. Get
your coffee, your tea, your drink, whatever it is you need. It's time for Like It or Not Show. 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like It or Not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture ish, we change skin like we supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Industrialized, good morning to you. It's starting now, so stay more. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not. I can't stand y'all. I made a pencil with 2 erasers, y'all. It was pointless. It's coming through. You know. Oh, lastly, too, my favorite childhood memory. I was talking to Mama about this last night. My favorite childhood memory is sandcastles with my grandpa. That was until my mama ass came to learn from me. This is his show. He's a politics bro. I am your DJ. Justin Draconis, good morning. DJ Exclusive. Shout out to my niece Sarah, who is dancing to this my song, The Badass. I stay dropping them jams. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not, it's starting now. Like it or not, it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to...
Oh, you know, I ain't been on the show. I don't think it's my place.
We
to
know
assert
you ain't been
leadership.
on the show. Welcome back.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
and you still see the you still say the goddamn saying. I don't give a goddamn. Delete the
He ain't
shit.
been here 2 hours. Now he brand new, but he been on
now he brand new.
shows. Now he back on Like It or Not. He don't know how to act.
He don't know how to say the goddamn saying.
In other news, there's a lot going on in the world, especially in Florida, where you are, Ben. Recently, Florida Governor DeSantis, went to a press conference and looked at children, got upset that they had masks on, and he threw a mini tantrum, demanding that they take it off because it's basically COVID theater. Let's take a look.
You do not have to wear those masks. I mean, please take them off. Honestly, it's not doing anything, and we got to stop with this COVID theater. So if you want to wear it, fine, but this is ridiculous.
All right. Well, it's good to be at USF.
I'm responsible for him, and I told him to wear that mask. And Governor DeSantis, and he's looking at this adult authority and is telling him, oh, you didn't have to wear the mask.
What was your reaction when you heard the governor tell you and your classmates, remove your masks?
A bit of surprise and shock, more of, okay, this authority figure is asking me to do something that I know is probably going to end up being controversial, so I took mine off.
Did you feel pressure by the governor to do that?
A little. It was more of a pressure of an adult figure asking me to do something, and it's just like, all right, why not?
It's just shocking that the governor told these kids, take off your mask. He pretty much said, take off your mask, it's stupid. And take off your mask, your parents don't matter. Even though I'm telling you, parents matter. And he's telling my minor child to take off his mask. He's putting us at risk. So, I was upset, very upset.
That
so
man.
Watching go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all for me. That man.
That man. I live for that.
Man.
But him looking at those children, before we get to the child that was, telling his testimony, child. He literally walks up there, looks at those children, gets upset, demands that they take it off, saying this is COVID theater. We're what kind of message are we putting out there? We need to stop this. Basically saying that we're telling lies. He's not the only leader that I've seen on what this is on this side of the fence, because there's been others I feel like on the other side of the fence that have been moving in that way as if COVID is not real, or COVID, the pandemic, we're done with it. And we're in that phase, I feel like, where we're just going to, we have to live with it. We're finding ways to live with it. I understand that, because ain't nobody going to be cooped in the house, but we still have to take precautions. Telling little kids, telling children, yelling at them, and how the child said, it was the pressure of an adult yelling at them or to demanding that they take it off. That's understood. That's understandable. It's almost like, when your teacher tells you to stop doing something, or when your parent tells you to stop doing something. And we know at a certain age level, we're respecting our elders no matter what. And in this particular moment, he felt like, okay, a leader, an authoritative, figure, a parent. He looks at that person like just a grown man telling me I need to take my mask off. Sure thing. This is where I say there's an abuse of power, because if that kid felt in that way, in that particular way about being safe, and him being told this ain't it, this ain't the way, this is an abuse of power. So yeah. That's my take.
Absolutely, Rebecca. You're right. And I feel it goes back to what we said yesterday, talking about the State of the Union address, when Boebert got up there and decided that she wanted to heckle Biden while he was speaking. It goes the same thing. I think he was doing one of those things where he was being respectable towards the governor. But child, had it have been me, I'm sorry, my disrespect would have came out that day, because that mask would have stayed on. I would have looked this little crazy stuff in the face and just been like, it's staying on. I'm good. You look like you got COVID, so I'm okay.
And it's like, and I hate that they put those children in that predicament. I feel like what they feel like they should be safe in, as long as we were teaching them that putting on their mask makes them safe. We have a Florida leader, a national leader, somebody who represents Florida and who is teaching them or telling them otherwise. What are they to believe? So it really sucks. It does. Ben?
Yeah.
Everything that comes after this should be attributed to me and me only. But that's some pedophilic shit, Governor DeSantis. I will build my case and convince you all why. But first, there's 2,000 people dying a day of COVID-19. The CDC is starting to change how they give us information so we don't worry about it anymore. But the fact is, mothers are dying. And this man in an authority position, and precisely right, Rebecca, used his authority as an adult. And I'm so glad that young man labored his point enough to parse it. It wasn't just the power of the governor. It was the power of an authority figure, of an adult. And all of those kids were forced through coercion to do something that is detrimental and potentially traumatic to their lives. Governor DeSantis, that sounds like a pedophile to me. You opie, dope. Okay, I'm going to flame down here, Rebecca.
Okay.
But I have a real problem with this because he's getting our children hurt.
Yeah.
He is the worst type of adult, the one who doesn't care about harming children. Yeah. That sounds like a pedophile to me, Ron DeSantis. Closed caption. No more. I'm done, Rebecca.
Okay. No, but I honestly see where you're being upset comes from. You have children right now, who are with you, especially in that state where he's supposed to be in leadership. Who wants to have their child going to school in that type of environment, or knows that their child isn't being safe because what the leader is telling everyone to do is to demask.
That's what a cult leader does. That's Jim Jones. That's the type of thing that gets people to drink Kool-Aid and die or kill themselves because they think aliens are coming back. Or, that is the cult of the Republican Party. They want you to die, and Ron DeSantis is their new savior. But he sounds like a pedophile to me.
Yeah, he gives me culty vibes. He gives me some Jim Jones vibes. He gives me some
most definitely
Hitler vibes. But we'll watch as that unfolds. I think that honestly, I seen a post that I actually put up 2 years ago during the beginning of the pandemic, and I talked about how watch as, because they were all at this same time, about 2 years ago, they were all going crazy about the mask mandate. They were all going crazy. They wanted everything to be open. They were saying the pandemic isn't that much of a big deal. And then the numbers started rising, and they still were fighting to be outside. Remember, they wanted the roots of their hairs dyed. They was looking crazy. All the blondes, the truth was coming out. They wasn't blondes no more. And they were really upset about that, and they wanted the pandemic to be over for them to go get their hair done. So I was posting about that, and I said, look how the Florida leadership, the Texas leadership, the Georgia leadership are fighting this. They're not fooling anybody. In about a few months or a year, this is what I wrote, they're going to act like the pandemic never existed. And this is where we are, guys. This is exactly where we are.
I would like to ask a journalistic question. I want to compartmentalize my rage long enough to ask a question that other journalists should ask Ron DeSantis every time they see him. If y'all don't do it, I will. In person, Ron, I ain't scared of you. Because as a citizen, I need to ask, as a person who's considering moving to Florida, why is it that the governor is demonstrating the same abusive type of power that pedophiles demonstrate on a regular basis? I need to know that my children are safe in Florida, or else I cannot move here. So as a journalist, as a father, and as a man, little man, okay, in transmission.
Okay. So, yes, DeSantis, you are just as nasty. You're just as trashy as Kemp. You're just as you're trashy as Abbott. All of y'all, trash. And I can't wait till you guys are removed and replaced with somebody who actually cares about their constituents and their family. What'd you say, Ben?
And then you see this little smug.
Before y'all get off of this. Shout out to my man on the end with the little dreads, because he said, "Nah, I forget that. I'm leaving."
Right, exactly.
He looked at his friend and was like,
"Yeah." He looked over like,
man, you took the mask off, bro.
Yeah,
man.
What the world?
F this man. And this little freaking smug little man next to DeSantis. This little Jimmy Neutron looking ass man, yeah, bro, you'll get it too. You're like, yeah, good job, yeah.
Proud of you.
Please take them off.
He tried
Honestly,
to stand in front
not
of
doing
the
anything.
dude on the end, so you couldn't see him.
He did, because you couldn't see him
with his mask on.
That's why people don't want their kids in school today. But anywho, before we get up to our interview that's coming up in the next few minutes here, I wanted to talk about this particular story, and I think it's important that we talk about Ukraine and also talk about the America.
That's right.
The mirror,
that's right.
Right? Holding up the mirror to our faces. So AOC calls out the bias towards Ukrainian refugees. She acknowledged the contrasting attitudes to other refugees. Let's take a look at what she said.
The way the world treated Syrian refugees versus the way that the world is greeting Ukrainian refugees is a very stark contrast. And I think that the way that we are looking at immediate granting of TPS to Ukrainian refugees, which is what we need to be doing, as well as many others, is something that we really need to keep in mind. Because I do believe that, for example, the thousands of people who tried to seek legal refuge on our southern border, how Haitian refugees have been treated by the United States, not just in past administrations, but frankly this one, is not right. And we really need to make sure that when we talk about accepting refugees, that we are meaning it for everybody, no matter where you come from.
And this is an important point that she put out there, and we've talked about this even when it came to I believe it was refugees from Afghanistan. It was recently, and it was like the refugees from the Middle East that were having the issues, and they were coming down. And here's what America does in the moment when it's hot, like when it's spicy, when it's trending, when it's hashtagable, they act like they care. And and this is the thing that I want people to understand exactly what's going on in Ukraine. Racism just doesn't go away because there's a war. Sometimes it highlights it. And as we saw what was happening in Ukraine, not in that, and here in America, what happens is we see when it comes to refugees of a particular color, they're treated a different kind of way. When you go, however you want to look at it, but I'll say up, when you go up on that color wheel and it begins to get darker, the more the assistance, the help, the asylum for the refugees ends, the treatment of them becomes disrespectful. They're treated like animals. I think that everyone who is seeking asylum, especially from war, from areas where it's unlivable, I think that they should be granted that here, especially if we have systems in place for that. But why do those same systems not work when the refugee looks like me? Why is it that they have to be treated with the worst treatment, starved, put into ice camps where they're sleeping in foil bags? COVID-19 is running rampant. People are getting sick and dying. They're having children in those ice camps, being whipped. We saw what happened at the border in Texas with the Haitians. We've seen constantly what's been happening with Mexicans, how they're treated. We've seen what happened even, with Asian people who live here when Donald Trump put the rhetoric out that they brought the Chinese flu. We see what America does. Like I said, when we go up the list, the more and the lighter you are, the better treatment, the greater treatment that you get, the more respect that you get. When you're black, when you are a black refugee, when you are a black immigrant, when you're a black migrant, when you're a black asylum seeker, your story will always be different. But in this particular time, we see how all of those chains, all of those barriers that Americans say they have to put in place. Remember, I talked about Title 43. Remember, I talked about how they said they cannot let more refugees or people here. This is what Biden signed after Trump also signed. They can't allow refugees in because of COVID-19. But we see how quickly in this particular moment, and granted the situation, but the same things that were happening in Haiti, they lost their president. There was a war going on in the streets, constant war. But for some reason, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I think that all people, right? When I say Black Lives Matter, I'm saying that all people should be included. Because we see naturally how a system can shift all of a sudden, right? We can see how everything that they had in place now works the way it was intended to work. And that's only for people who fit the description. White is right.
Girl, you said that. You just gotta be quiet.
And that's all that, I think that it's not mutually exclusive to discuss the two, also while discussing racism that's happening in Ukraine as well. Right. But I think America needs to understand and to hold the mirror up to their face. What is the story? Is it this or is it that? Because when we're calling it out, when we're trying to say, why can't the Mexicans get assistance? Why can't Haitians get assistance? Why can't Africans get assistance? When we call that out and we're speaking about it and we're yelling it, there's so many things that are being said. There's so many excuses from everybody, from both sides. But then in this particular situation, it's like, let them in. We got to let them in. We don't care. We don't care what the rules are. We don't care. Bring them in. Give them housing. Give them food. Let's figure this out for the people of Ukraine. Yeah. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Let me just give one. I know our guest is ready, but let me just give this one little detail that I heard that story, Rebecca, and that kind of pissed me off. I was on Juliana. I forgot. I was on a show with Act TV. I'm sorry, sis, I forgot your last name. But the group that is getting flown out, it gets even worse. Everything that you just said was 100% true. Amen. Plus, the folks who are getting flown out are the rich people. The people who have been left in Ukraine are the bartenders, the truck drivers, the sex workers, the malls, the disabled, and poor children. So I just want to juxtapose that, because the people who are getting this first-class treatment that you are absolutely right about never gave that to the people who are about to take bullets on behalf of Ukraine.
Not only is it a race.
Well, I can't categorize it. Some of them might be nice people. Some of them.
Not only is it a race issue, but you do point out that is it also an elitist issue as well. If you got the money, where you are now, you're white, great, you fit the description. What's your money looking like? Okay, now you're not getting on the train. We're putting you on a jet straight over to the melting pot, right?
The Ritz-Carlton,
freest of all nations, right? We taking you over here, baby. We taking you to America. You fit the description. White is right, baby. We gonna put you up in something real nice.
We got you.
And then we're gonna mark that off. We're gonna check that off and say that we did that. Look what America did for Ukraine when Ukraine was going through what they was going through.
We still gonna call you a refugee and make it seem like you might be poor and ain't got no money, but you good, bro. Don't worry about it. We got you. We're gonna fly you out over here.
Though, because the white ones get to blend right in. All they got is the accent, right?
I love it when I don't have to say something. Rebecca, I was about to interrupt you to say that. I can say less. Go on with the show.
So, I mean, we're at 9:46. Don't want to make it too crazy because our next guest is white. I love him. But he's also a friend of the show. He always gives us so much love. And we
so much.
Why the hell haven't we had this man on the show? Our ally.
My goodness.
Someone who's constantly giving us love. And I thought, let's get this man on the show. And we've got him on the show. He's a superstar, y'all. And finally, we get to match the face with the portrait. It's like, no, well, he's a handsome man.
Letterhack.
Look at that face. I was not expecting this. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting this.
You're going to make me blush now. Good morning.
Look at you turning red.
Come on, Letterhack.
That's not fair.
Welcome, Mr. Letterhack, to the show. Can you introduce yourself? I don't know what name you go by because we know you as Letterhack, but introduce yourself to the people who you are.
My name is Matt Strackbein, otherwise known as the Letterhack. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
We're excited to have you on. Absolutely. I think your face is perfect, by the way. We wanted to have you on because we feel like, you're like the Mad Hatter, but you're like also in this space of Twitter, but we can never find a face, to the artwork. Also, we don't know.
Right.
We heard your voice maybe like twice when we did the call-ins, but it's like, who is this mystery man? Then you'll disappear. You'll disappear. We don't know where you're going. Then we start having conversations on, where is he? Do you guys know where he went? Look, we're concerned. Don't even know you. But like, do you guys know where he's at? Haven't seen him on social media. Haven't seen him, and things like that. So it's like, now that we have you on, it's just, what drove you to doing this for politics? Like, this kind of artwork in the political world.
Well, some of the reasons why I leave social media periodically is because social media is not like a great place, and it's real tough to be there. So I used to be on there a lot, and I got off for a while and decided if I'm going to be back on social media, Twitter, whatever, it's going to be with a purpose. And two paths in my life, I found a way to merge them. One was making comics and the other was advocacy. And you can do both of those. Comics is a great vehicle for advocacy. So when I left the corporate world and went freelance, I started looking for different ways to find out what was going on in the world besides the news, the daily news, or mainstream media or cable news. And I discovered all these YouTube shows and podcasts. And I realized, okay, I can, one, promote these folks, but also poach their audience for myself. So if I attract people to my comics, then it's a win-win because that promotes folks like y'all.
Oh. And listen, I love that you include us into the mix. It's like a nice little sprinkle of pepper into the mix where people don't even know that we exist in the same world. Same world.
We are your diversity and inclusion pick.
It's diversity and inclusion.
I dig it.
But I love that. Because you see us, you love our work, and not a lot of people will like what we do is a little hardcore, but it's like you hear us, you understand the fight that we're talking about, you understand the conversation that we're having here on this side, and I really appreciate that. Like, you're an ally, and then you make it fun. I love how you go in your head and then we'll drop something and be like, well, I heard her say this, or I heard Bubba say this, I heard Ben say this, and you just go into your bag and you just create something so so great. Ben, I'm
within
sorry,
a few minutes.
Yes.
Whoa, no, for real. I'm glad you said that, James. Do we have the one he did of Georgia Fort? Because he dead ass. I can't remember what show I am. Oh,
yes.
Sorry. He did this between the time I said it. No, go back one for me. I know you might have to pause it. He did this from the time I said it on the show. By the end of the show, this was out. Shout out to our sister Georgia Ford, who is also out in the field. But Letterhack, man, welcome to the show. I absolutely love your work, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I've always made comics in real time. Like when I was growing up, all my friends and we would, tease each other and harass each other, play the dozens or whatever. And I was never very good at it. I wasn't witty enough. I wasn't quick enough. But if I could, that's Terrell Star.
Yeah.
But
just put it together.
But then, I weaponized comics by drawing pictures of my friends in their most embarrassing moments in real time. And then people realize, don't get on this guy's bad side. He's got tools that we don't have. And as you grow up and mature, you got to move away from that. And hopefully now when people see my artwork online, they realize my reputation is to promote people and to hold people up and to make certain voices louder. And so it's yes, I want people to read more comics. I want people to appreciate comics and even make comics, but I want them to see, I do Charlie Brown style. I do Norman Rockwell style. These are things that people already know. So they gravitate to it right away. There's some appeal. And then when they look a little closer, they realize, oh, these are actual people. There's links to their Twitter or their shows. They can tune in. But also, there's some inside jokes going on here because, like you said, what's the Batwoman thing? What does that mean? And now they're missing out. And now they need to tune in so they can keep up with the rest of us. See?
I love that.
Smart, right?
Dope.
Yeah.
That's brilliant because, like you said, people.
That is really brilliant.
Some people who would never know. And honestly, that's how I know some of the people because you put us in a group with them. We're all on the same side, and I don't even know who my allies are half the time. You know what I'm saying? So when you put us like in these pictures and in these, I'm like, okay, let me go follow them and see what they're about. So I'm on there, and it's funny because they start following me too. You create that, so there's like a separation.
Cross-pollination.
There's like a separation there. Not that it's something that I'm doing on purpose, but I just don't know. And the next thing you know, we're involved in this great artwork. And then I'm seeing them come on my page. I'm going on their page. And we're getting to know each other's work, realizing that we're on the same side of things. And I absolutely love that. And I thank you, Letterhack, for that. I really do. Bubba, what did you have to add in?
Just awesome work, man. Just the work is just amazing. You already know I'm a fan. Letterhack, let me ask you, where are you located? Where are you at?
I'm originally from Annapolis, Maryland, but I currently live in Longmont, Colorado.
Nice. Okay.
Hey, man.
That sounds nice. Look, it sounds nice up there.
Sound like you got good views and great trees, man.
It is, yeah. The internet reception can be a little shoddy up in the mountains sometimes, but for the most part, it's nice. It's a good place to live. Yeah.
Is it cold?
I'm gonna start bringing my own.
There?
It is like you'll have like it was 75 degrees yesterday, but there's ice everywhere. So we're caught right in the middle. You'll have snow and ice in your backyard. I was shoveling the grass, trying to get ice off my lawn for my dog so she could walk around. But I'm in a t-shirt, so it's a little weird.
It's climate change right there, and like that's
right.
What that is.
All right, and Letterhack, tell me about it looks like this may be something new, Milagro.
Oh, Milagro. Yeah. So I self-published my own graphic novel last year called Milagro. It was crowdfunded. We had it fully funded on the third day of our Kickstarter, which was just exceeded all of our expectations. It's a collaboration between me and two hardworking comic book creators that I hope to work with a lot more, Guillermo Zagara and Ross Radke. It's the story of a homeless luchador. It takes place in Mexico City. There's exactly one white guy in the whole thing. Otherwise, it's my effort to bring more diversity to comics. when you look at comics or just ask somebody on the street if they can name a comic book person, it's like Superman, the white American, Spider-Man, the white American, Iron Man, the white American. And where does that end? So I had this idea like back in 2007 where I was like, I'm sick of this. I've seen enough of that. I'm going to do my part to introduce more diversity so that people can see themselves on the page, but and you know, relate to it. But also, there's a lot of real world aspects to it. So the whole story it's fictional, but it's based in deep research.
I love
that. That is amazing. I'm trying to see if we can get those images on the screen as well too, so we can show those, because it looks amazing. And definitely, where can I pick this up at, and where can anyone get this? Because I definitely want to copy myself.
You know, the copies are nearly gone. There's a couple of local comic shops in Colorado where you can grab it, but otherwise go to rossradke.com/shop. You can find that link on the comic books Twitter at Comic Milagro. I mean, I think there are some left, but it went fast. We had a book signing in Boulder, Colorado a few weeks ago and sold like 50 copies right there. So
come on, somebody. I'm talking about
it's doing well.
I love that. Yes. Talk about your stuff. Say it's doing well. When we asking about it, I want to hear everybody tell me it's sold out. I don't even know where I can get a copy. Actually, I
can't even find
everybody
one.
Loved it. So, you know, because you're that good. That's right. Celebrate yourself, and we will always celebrate you right here, Letterhack, because you celebrate us.
Same.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for being an ally. Where can people find you and find your stuff other than this one? Where can people find more of your work and follow you, especially on Twitter? Because that's a great place to follow you.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love if people would follow me at the Letterhack on Twitter, because like I said, if you come to me, then you'll see everyone that I'm promoting. And, you know, if I could, I would also like to tell people to go check out Terrell Star at Terrell J Star. That's 2 R's on Star. Check out his Cash App and give to that guy, because he's doing the work over there in the Ukraine right now. And we should support him.
Yes,
absolutely.
All of it.
I love
Terrell
that.
is a friend to the show, and I'm watching his. I love how you immediately drew him in that moment where he put on his press outfit, and it was also, you know, to make sure that he's safe as well from everything that's going on. But just to see him, you know, just getting ready to go out and to basically battle, to be somebody on the front lines, and you know. Thank you for doing that, because it went viral, and I absolutely
shout out Michael Brooks.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make sure we channel into Terrell's Cash App. He's out there doing it for the people, everybody. And
there it is. Pause that right there.
That's Terrell.
I love that.
I do.
Wow.
If you follow him, he's and he's going through so many emotional things right now too, because a lot of people are saying that he is not fit enough to be covering it. How can you, you know, he was utilized many a time before he was even out there as the expert in Russian issues, especially when Trump was in office. We had him on our show, and
I'm sorry, what? Who said that? Fit, like, is in physical shape? Because he does
no,
like
not
the
physical
height of
shape.
yoga.
Fit, like experience, qualified enough to be doing the journalistic takes out there in Ukraine. Many people that he had to respond, and I hate that he had to go through that emotional stress while he's out there in literal stress and emotion.
Right. I mean,
so, you know, people are upset that he's taking funds. People are upset that he's actually being the one covering this for us. And, you know, at the end of the day, he's going to do what he needs to do. We're going to continue to love on him. If you can, make sure you follow him, Terrell J Star. That's 2 R's on Star. He has a Cash App. Just, you know, continue. We can help him out. Now, he's been doing this, mind you, he's not new to this. He's very, very true to this, to the point that we had him on years ago to talk about, you know, issues in Russia, and he actually lives in Ukraine. So, yeah, that's another story for another day. But thank you for pointing that out, Letterhack. We love you so much. Mean it. And can't wait to have you on the show again to talk about your next art and work.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you guys do. I watch every single day, which is, you know, I'm on Mountain Standard Time, so I get up pretty early to watch this. I started around 5:30. Yeah.
And that's crazy. I'm like, man, he really loves us. He loves us.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Well,
so thank you.
So much.
Brother.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Letterhack. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see you over on Letterhack.
Take care of yourself,
you mean it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
OMW. On my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW. Watch me walk away. Putting myself.
Shout out again to Letterhack that came through it, man. Always a pleasure to see somebody, allies that come through and do the stuff, man. Shout out to Letterhack again for everything he does. Amazing artwork. We appreciate you, man. So make sure that y'all stay tuned. I think we are going to the after party. I'm waiting for notice and I'll go from there. But y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Like it, more like it or not, after this short musical break.
On my way, on my way. They wanna judge me, untestified. Catch me on Insta, I'm verified. They want me quiet, I amplify. I'm on my way to the best thing that you've ever seen. You know that you bow to the queen. You lose all your senses and reason. I'll give you something to believe. OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW. OMW, on my way to you. Good at what I do. I'm OMW. On my way, on my way. Yeah, OMW. Nothing left to prove. So enjoy the view, taking a picture like Malibu. I'ma have you on tiptoes, watching my diamond afterglow. I know you wanna take me home. I'm on my way, on my way. I'm OMW. OMW. On my way to you.
All right, y'all, make sure y'all stay tuned. We are staying public today. I'll get the public show. They ain't said nothing in a long time. Patreon.com/liking or not. Patreon.com/the BPD show. Make sure y'all become a member. Act.tv as well, too. Don't y'all forget it. Patron party next week.
I could really use a change of scenery.
Go back Thursday.
Everybody smoking all the greenery. Yeah. Close the match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly. I'm still fly. I know. I'm still fly. I'm still fly. Let's go.
Shay, good morning to you.
It could all be worse. I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Pills to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you from the inside out. So right now, say it with your chest now. Say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out.
Left this mess. What's going on? Good morning.
It's my time to ride it. I'm young.
Yeah.
I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out.
We can talk about it when we come back. Most definitely. XOXXOOO Wow. Shout out to the team. Send a super chat saying, please reach out to our brother Chuck Diesel. We all folk here, so we take care of each other. Hit me up on Discord. Let's show some love and support. Yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all check out Chuck Diesel, man. I haven't seen him, it seems like all week. So y'all get a chance, check on our brother, man. I'll make sure I reach out to him as well, too.
It could all be worse. I could be a hater like
Lipsha, good morning.
Close to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you from the inside out. It's time to say it with your chest now. Say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here.
Mara Cherise, good morning, sister.
It's my time to
me too.
Ride it out. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young. I'm free. Can't nobody take
what's going on? Deacon, good morning. Yes, happy Friday Eve.
It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to ride it out. It's your time. Oh, if you're on the bus, say
Asia, good morning. Michael, computer geek, what's going on?
Yeah, everybody going somewhere. Young or old, I really don't care. Life has never really been fair. So put your fist up in the air. Say yeah. I'm young.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the screen. So I'm Laura Estrada. Yes, please reach out to Tuck. We love you, Tuck, to reach out to us. Y'all welcome back to the screen, y'all. My brother from another mother, my sister from another mister, Rebecca and Ben.
We got some Black Joy clips. I really don't know what they are. I'm going to be surprised when they drop. Do you know what they are, Bubba?
Maybe. Maybe not. Dwayne.
So let's go ahead and drop that thing, Dwayne.
Drop it like it's hot.
Up front checking out. William Rogers, up front checking out, please.
While we're talking.
Hey, yeah.
I hate these videos.
Yeah, because I'm just in a couple miles.
You see that? The same nervous walk, stance, everything.
So for people who missed the beginning of it, he's meeting his son for the first time, I think 12 years going
12
to jail.
years.
Prison.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful moment because, yeah, he hasn't had an opportunity to hug, love, physically touch on his child in that time. And so for the first time, having to reconnect with your child in that way is crazy.
Yeah.
Don't know what he did to get into prison, but the fact that we do have spaces that take you away from your family. The fact that we have these places that take you away from your babies for that amount of time and then throw you back out in the world and call that rehabilitation, and you've lost love. Like that's your baby. That's your child. But I love that we got to see that you know, in a way.
And how they got the same walk and the same, they got the whole same
stand, the same, and y'all haven't met in 12 years. It is just like, it just goes to show some stuff is buried in your DNA.
Mm-hmm. It really, no, my best friend tells me all the time, her, you know, with her son and her son's father, he lives abroad. So she's like, it's so crazy how this little boy doesn't see his father much, but he literally sleeps just like him. Like, he literally sleeps just like him. He scratches his head just like him. And, you know, it's so funny because I really think it's like genetics is more than just like what we see physically, like how we move, like how we talk sometimes, how we laugh, how we might drink out the cup. You know, it's crazy. It's just like you probably never met that person. I'm pretty sure my ancestors, I got some things from them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's right.
For real. I know I did. And because like me and my dad already, I think when I started telling stories and everything, I get loud like my daddy. And I'm just like, damn, where did that come from? Like, it came from my damn daddy. But it's like other stuff I know, I'm just like, where the hell did that come from? It's just like, you just pick it up, just like we not even thinking about it. It's like, man, where the hell did that come from? Who did I get that from?
Oh, yeah.
I never had a chance to play pool with my older brother until I think I was around probably 21, y'all. I never played pool with my brother until I was 21. We have the exact same shot. How you hold your, position, finger, everything down to the T. All of our style is the same, but we never learned together. So you're right.
That's crazy.
DNA for sure.
And I bet you're like, that what me and my siblings would say, we'd be like, I don't know, because my dad used to say this, first of all. I don't know. But it's like, we'll be like, it's an Azor thing. Or we'll be like, it's Azor, bitch. I don't know why my dad would walk around the house saying that. I really don't know. I really don't freaking know. But when, like, he would do something good, he would say something like that. And now that I think about it, where did he get that from? And we would just be like, it's Azor. But we wouldn't say the bitch part until, like, we were amongst each other and we would, like, do something in front of our friends that was cool. We'd be like, it's Azor, bitch. Like, why would we? But yeah, it's a thing.
DNA carries more. I guess DNA carries personality traits too.
It really does.
It does. It really does.
It really does. It really does. So what's next up, Dwayne?
Yeah, because they say y'all got people crying in the chat. So.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, y'all welcome.
We tried to laugh it away just now.
Something to laugh
at. What they crying about?
Be a part
because it was so exciting.
Jules, you want to say anything?
No, thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Be a part of such a wonderful song. And Jules, you want to say anything?
You talking about someone saying Jay-Z's laugh sounds like SpongeBob.
Oh my God!
It actually does.
I can't hear it now.
It actually did. It actually did.
The internet is undefeated.
I wanted to drop something. I know it's audible, but I wanted to drop a photo. And I'm going to do it in Slack. I don't know if you can grab it in time. And I think this is the cutest thing, and we can leave with this after you play.
Oh, I guess you can, Dave.
Oh,
I mean,
and
Dwayne,
Bubba's picture. Go ahead.
Yes, y'all. So last night, Lateef stopped by, and we had a chance to chill out. Lateef is real. See?
Does he really have those green, hazel-looking eyes?
Yeah, he does.
Those are beautiful. I want to know if those was contacts.
Lateef is freaking hilarious, bruh. When I tell you, I can probably sit and talk to this man all night long. Now, like the coolest person that you will ever meet. Hours. I can talk to you for hours.
Have y'all heard the Bishop sing that song?
I don't like that y'all meeting up without me. I don't like y'all meeting. Don't drop it yet, Dwayne. No.
Imported it.
No, so
you know how these the systems go.
I'm glad that you met up with Lateef. He is a real person. I'm glad that people, we're coming. See, we're making our own pandemic boxes and making it work for us. But I'm glad that you were able to meet up with Lateef. Lateef, shouts out to you because you always be hooking me up. Right? He always, when I be like, drop me some lunch, buddy. Nobody else listens, but Lateef be like, hey, you did a good job on the show today. Thank you, Lateef. I love you. And I mean that. No, shout out to the patrons. You guys are great all the time. But
yes, Lateef, awesome.
Lateef be dropping a coin. He be like, hey, here you look, like a grandmother. Here, let me slide you that right there. Take that. You did good on the show today. you I like what you dropped today on the show. There you go. Here you go. Go have lunch on me. Go have a taco on me. Yes, I will go have a taco on you. And I did on Tuesday. I meant to drop that picture. Yeah, Lunch Bay. That's what Lateef is.
Lunch Bay. But, right. When I tell y'all, cool as the polar bear's toenails. That's Lateef. Man, it's cool as hell.
Cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Exactly. That's my dog. Shout out Lateef, man. I appreciate you, man, for stopping by last night.
What we got to do,
good
now that I know Lateef, does he live? I didn't know he lives in Georgia, but now that I know that, let's all go and have lunch one day or something like that.
All right. He does live in Georgia, but he was traveling through, so he stopped by. So, yeah.
What kind of crap is that? Man? Not him That's stopping by and nobody told me.
Rebecca,
I don't like that.
You stay in Wakanda. Okay.
But I have a vehicle that can get over to the west of nowhere.
Oh yeah, you do, huh?
Thank you.
I think about. I forgot you got your little putt, man. It ain't no putt.
No, she's not a putt. Don't be trying, Coco. She is not a putt.
Rebecca, you didn't
Coco.
Boom, boom. Yeah, Coco. But yes, I wanted to just drop this. I was scrolling through my good old Twitter, and I wanted to see something. I mean, not that I wanted to see something. It was all Ukraine, which we have to be focused on, of course. It was a lot of things about the State of the Union. It was a lot of things about Kyrie not being able to play. It was like a lot of things happening. And so when I saw this just pop up on my timeline, I said to myself, oh my God, isn't this the cutest little thing? And here she is. Look at this little cutie patootie. I guess this is for career day. She got her little outfit on, her little hairdo, and not the mom purse, y'all. You know that classic black bag. That literally, she's a grown woman for career day. A grown woman she's a grown woman with a full job, got bills to pay, and she is the manager, baby. When they ask me to speak to the manager, I am the manager. And I love that for this little girl. She's so cute. Yes. I don't know her. I don't know her name. I don't know who her mother is, but she definitely won career day. She definitely won career day.
She definitely looks like somebody's flight attendant. Like she's about to go work this flight or work at the counter to get the ticket that does the ticketing or anything else. She's like, ma'am, okay.
Please fasten your safety belt.
There is a flight, a seat.
Right. Let me take a look at it, ma'am. Ma'am, could you step back for me, please? I said I will look at it for you. Give me a moment. Give me a moment.
Right.
They need to let
ma'am, back up.
It looks like
I need to find her because she's awesome, man.
She's adorable. I need
awesome.
her. When I have a kid, you see, y'all want to post y'all kids on the gram for foolishness and hurt their feelings. Baby, what you want to be for career day? Oh,
right.
You want to be an astronaut? A pink astronaut? Say no more. That's what
say less.
And then I will post up my kid being happy because I don't want to see my kid being just like sad, crying,
that's real.
whatever the case may be. I want you guys to see my kid. And I want to know, especially with the stuff that's going on in the world, us millennials have so much sitting on the couch and talking to a therapist to do. I want to remove most of that I possibly can when my child speaks to their therapist. I don't want them to have a lifetime of drama, okay?
Exactly.
That came
Hello.
from my hands.
Trauma.
And look, and when I tell you when I have a son and he says, "Daddy, I want to be Black Panther," I'm not getting you that little cheap ass Black Panther costume. I'm about to sit down and sew you something. I'm about to melt latex. I'm about to make you like the best Black Panther. They about to hire you and put you in the next Black Panther 5 or 6. That's how good I'm gonna do out there and do you because I'm living my dreams out through you, kid.
Period. We're going to make sure.
How much time do we have, Rebecca?
Oh, we have about 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Ben. No, because I don't want to say. I just want to say I really appreciate y'all because yeah, I told y'all I like sitting back listening to y'all. The two of y'all together, man. Y'all got a thing going on, and I enjoy every bit of it. And James, I just learned something from you just then that I'm about to go get me a Black Panther suit. I'm about to be running around here like messing with Ron DeSantis and stuff. No, I'm joking.
No, get you and your child a Black Panther suit and y'all go run around and have a good old time. Who gonna
have a good time?
We're gonna go play water guns. We're gonna go play water guns.
Put your mask on with your Black Panther costume. Put a mask on when you pull up. I got a mask on. Who gonna check me, boo?
So the black man can get some more money.
Exactly.
That part, Dwayne. Y'all go look him up on, I don't say eBay. But just find the real authentic super soakers, and so the man can get that direct money.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
The guy that created he was
black as hell.
Black.
Just talking about that yesterday with somebody. Yeah.
Okay, I just want y'all to know that they out here imitating and perpetrating and saying that
black
it's
and black
of the American, and that is not the truth. It's the Black American. Okay. We're gonna say it. We're gonna have to say it.
The Black American.
We're
not American.
Correct.
Y'all know. Y'all know. Now listen, y'all. They ain't heard. None of these new people have ever heard from Rebecca, but that's just a little piece. That reminded me of how we used to do Rebecca back in the day. But we'll leave that for another show.
It was classless. I felt like at some point I would moved on from that.
Now they got to go Google.
I elevated.
Go Google it.
Yeah, look. We grew up because
baby,
we felt like we were being pimped at one point. Rebecca, do that, Rebecca. Okay. We gonna dance for Master Rebecca. Yeah, we'll
literally be sitting here talking about something like, we'll be talking about literally a murder that happened, and Ben's like, yeah.
Oh no, come on now you ain't gonna lie to me.
Rebecca,
come on,
Ben, what the hell? Yes, Ben.
I'm off. Listen,
Dwayne.
I get a rating score.
Didn't that happen
every day? But listen, no, y'all ain't gonna make people think I'm that off. I ain't never.
We're kidding. We are kidding.
In no
We're
murder.
joking. Tranquille.
Tranquille. What Rebecca said. No, calm down. That's the translation.
That's exactly the we're joking. Ben.
I know what it means.
But we're at the end of the show. I hope that you guys were able to keep. You guys probably cried, laughed, we're confused. We're like, what the hell's going on? You got all of that in today's episode for the free.
It's got layers. It got layers.
And see, y'all haven't seen this in a long time, so y'all needed to see it. It's been a long time since y'all seen the
fact that y'all could just come on air and I gotta take it.
They almost didn't see it today. Because I was this close to pressing that button and just muting everybody. Like, look, we just going to play some clips because y'all going to stop this.
And that would have been all right with me. That would have been all right with me. That would have
been cool, Dwayne.
Look. And I would have got upset that my mic was muted. I would have been pissed off.
And then she was
we're at the end of the show.
Yell at each other in the background, but the public going to see some clips.
Okay.
We're at the end of the show. I love you guys so much. And I hope that you guys have a good Friday, Junior. Pay your rent. For some of us, it's the last day to pay rent before they charge. I love you guys so much. Go right. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Why are you like this? I didn't even have a song ready. Shut up, man. You call me, mother sucker. Love y'all, man. Thanks for everything that y'all doing and everything that you continue to do, man. Next week, we have a Patreon party, so make sure that you're there. Also, man, thank y'all for tuning in today. Shout out to Dr. Carl Mack. Who else we had? Oh my gosh, Curt, Flores Jr., thank you for coming through as well too, and also the Letterhack, thank you for coming through, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the show as much as we did. Still love you, man. You little punk ass, but I still love you to death. Your affirmation for today: I am a warrior. I got this. Love y'all, mean it. See y'all tomorrow. Deuces.
I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad. Let her ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I never sold pack for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, do that ass survive, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit her to the sky, change haters on a tirade. Talking to their grip in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, hit myself